Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to this very special launch webinar live from the Barco headquarters here in Belgium. My name is Richard Marples, and I work for the entertainment division here at Barco. And as we're still in the month of January, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you all the very best for 2021, and especially good health. Before we begin, as you've joined us via this GoToWebinar application, you might want to click on the small orange square on the top right-hand side of your screen to minimize the boxes. This will give you an uninterrupted view of the presentation. If you'd like to ask us a question via the question facility, then just re-click on that orange box and the boxes will reappear. And please do ask us questions if you have them, and we'll do our best to answer them at the end of the presentation. So now, without further delay, let's get straight on with the main news of today. Barco has announced that we're launching a brand new series of projectors, the G100, which are both very bright and very cost effective. So just how do we do that? Well, Barco has an extensive product range from 2,000 to 75,000 lumens with both 1-chip and 3-chip DLP products in the portfolio. Some are powered by lamps, others by laser, others by LED, and we have both laser phosphor and laser RGB. We have WUXGA resolution, WQXGA, 4K UHD, and native 4K resolutions all available. Let's just say when it comes to projection with Barco, you've come to the right place. So this G100, what do we know about it so far? Well, it's a 1-chip DLP projector with native WUXGA resolution, a laser phosphor light source giving 20,000 hours of lifetime, and it comes in 3 different brightness variations, 16,000, 19,000, or 22,000 lumens. It's an extension of the G series, which signifies both high performance and budget friendliness, just like its smaller brother, the G60. We made a short film of the new projector, so let's go and take a look at that now. I hope that everybody's bandwidth enabled that video to play out correctly. Don't worry if it didn't. We shall be sending everybody on this webinar a link so that you can go and see that video yourselves and take a closer look afterwards. Now, let's go and take a closer look at that projector and find out some more details. And we'll join the product manager for the G100, Mr. Koen van Bellen, live from the Barco R&D lab. Good morning, Koen. I see you're setting up for a demonstration. That's fantastic. What can you tell us about this projector and why should we go and buy one?
Hi, Richard. Yes, indeed, that's the one, the G100, and it's fully tested, so I can remove this. So the G100 is a 1 DLP product projector with a laser phosphor light source, bringing it its brightness and also at an attractive price point. So the laser phosphor light source makes sure we have rich colors. You can install the projector in any orientation, and it gives a lifetime of 20,000 hours.
Excellent. Of course, lenses are a very important part of any projector. They don't work without them. I see that we've got 9 new GC lenses to go with this projector range. What can you tell us about those lenses?
Yes, so on my right-hand side, you will see the whole lens range, 9 lenses going from ultra short throw 0.38 all the way up to the long throw lens 10.8. Most of these lenses have lens shift vertically up to 120%, and especially the ultra short throw lens, this one, 0.38, is a 90-degree angled lens. It's very versatile. It also has 120% vertical shift, making it possible to project a full wall at any position where you want the projector to hang if you have constraints on walls and ceilings.
Excellent.
Next to this, I also want to mention the lens holder, which is a sturdy lens holder, makes it very easy to install and replace lenses, and it's also making it reliable for multi-channel setups.
Okay, so that's ideal then for themed entertainment type venues such as museums and art galleries and projection mapping events. But what about all the latest input sources and formats? Can it handle those? This is very important to this market sector.
Yes, so over here, you see the different inputs. It has 2-time HDMI 2.0 display ports, HD-Base-T, and even the good old VGA as an input. Next to this, you have internal warping and blending, which can be controlled through our projector toolset software or through OSD. It also has an internal web server running on the product to enable it to connect through a network. It is compatible with Crestron, Extron, AMX, and PG-Link, and it also has a very efficient cooling. It's possible to use this projector in an ambient temperature up to 50 degrees centigrade or 122 degrees Fahrenheit. So this enables this projector to be used in harsh environments like enclosures, hot countries, or outdoor projection mapping, for instance.
Fantastic. 50 degrees C, that is indeed extremely hot. I don't think the Belgian weather will be giving it any trouble in that department at the moment. What about installing the projector? Can we hang it on a ceiling? Can we hang it in a truss? Does it have a frame, this projector?
Well, indeed. So at the bottom, you have ceiling mounting holes, which are compatible with standard ceiling mounts, but also we made it possible that this projector fits in the already existing UDX frame with an adapter plate. That UDX frame, together with the projector, can be put into a flight case for safe transportation. And even in the flight case, there is some space to put an extra projection lens.
Okay, so it sounds like this projector is much more up to date than most of its rivals out there. But you mentioned 50 degrees C and that ambient temperature. That has me worried. Does it have lots of fans in that case, keeping it cool? And is the projector very noisy?
Well, you have to pay attention, Richard. I already said it has a very efficient cooling, so noise levels are really under control. So if you look to the table, for the W16 and the W19, noise levels go from 36 dB to 40 dB. For the W22, they range from 38 dB to 42 dB. In the table, on my right-hand side, you will also see eco mode. That means 50% of the brightness. Normal mode is 100% of the brightness. And the difference between typical and maximum is for typical user circumstances are lower altitudes or a ambient temperature ranging up to 35 degrees C or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. If you go to higher altitudes or you go to higher ambient temperature, then your noise level goes to the maximum range.
That's very interesting. Let's move on to the power supply and power consumption. Of course, power supply, a critical component of any projector, very essential to its reliability, and power consumption, always a very important subject. Is this an environmentally friendly projector?
Yes, absolutely. So the power supply, it has carefully selected components. Selected for to make sure there are no harmful components inside, also that they are very energy efficient, but also that they are very reliable. And the power supply is not only reliable, but it's also working from an input power from 100 volts to 240 volts. And for the people living in countries that have 110 volts, this projector can project 100% brightness even for the W22 at 110 volts. If you look to the table and you look at the maximum power rated there, it's below 1600 watts. That's very efficient for a projector of 22,000 lumen. You can do the calculations based on the table, but that's a very efficient value.
Excellent. I should be making those calculations and doing the comparison. Thank you. It looks a very solid projector. That's a good thing. But is it very, very heavy? How does it compare to its competitors? And is it too large?
Well, it's a solid projector indeed. And the weight is comparable with projectors from that category. So it's 50 to 54 kilograms, or 110 pounds to 119 pounds. If we look at volume, the volume is slightly bigger than its rivals, but it has the very efficient cooling inside and also some extra great features in the projector.
Excellent. So it's all very interesting. What about production? When does that start? When will we be able to start deliveries, and where is it produced exactly?
Well, production is ongoing and deliveries are possible. Production is done in 2 different locations. So one location is Taiwan, and for the projectors delivered from Taiwan, that's for most of the world. So for the US people, the projector is TAA compliant. There is also a production facility in China, mainly for mainland China and for some countries who wants to order from China.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you, Koen, for that overview and that information. All I need to add is that the G100 is available from all of the Barco sales regions around the world. So please reach out to your local Barco office or your closest reseller for more information, and they'll be able to help you. Before you go, Koen, let's just take a quick look to some questions which have come in on the webinar platform. If you could help me out answering some of these. First of all, let me just read this. Does it fit into the UDM frame as well, Koen?
No, it doesn't fit in the UDM frame. It fits in the UDX frame.
Okay, that's clear. And also another question about that voltage. You said it goes from 100 to 240 volts. Does it actually work at 100 volts, or is it only 110?
It works at 100 volts.
Okay, fantastic. Another question here, is the unit suitable for warping and blending?
Yes, it does. It has internal warping and blending, and you can control it through pToolset, our software, or even from the menu structure in the software of the projector itself.
Okay. Another question here, does it use additional red lasers, or is it blue lasers only?
Well, the W16 and W19, they use blue lasers only. The W22 also has red lasers inside.
Okay, so it depends upon the unit. Another one here, you mentioned previously on the slide super bright mode. What does that mean exactly, and does it affect the lifetime?
Well, super bright mode is available on the W22 in 220 volts input mode only. It delivers 8% higher brightness at the expense of 2 dB higher noise level and also a bit lower lifetime.
Okay, thank you. Contrast level. What is the contrast level of the G100, please?
So sequential contrast of the G100 is 1100 to 1. Then we have dynamic black 5500 to 1, and extreme black is 100,000 to 1. Okay.
The last question I can see popping up here, price. What's the price of the G100? I think I can answer that one. The W16 starts at 24,500 euros. Or that's 27,930 US dollars. That's list price for the body only. And the W22 is 30,000 euros or 34,200 US dollars. Backwards compatibility with old lenses. What about that, Koen? What can you tell us?
Well, the ultra short throw lens is a lens which is already available. That's compatible with this projector. The rest of the lenses is a new lens range.
Okay, that's to be able to handle the power.
Yes.
Excellent. Another question, when will they start shipping?
Shipping is from February onwards, demo, and then on later will be the mass production units.
Okay. About those lasers then, the projector risk group, is it risk group 2 or 3, and does it depend on the lens throw ratio?
Yes, indeed. So it's a risk group 2 projector up to the throw ratio of 2, and above 2 we are at a risk group 3. Yep.
Okay. Another question about shipping. Again, we'll be shipping from February onwards. Shutter, does the G100 have an internal shutter?
It doesn't have a mechanical shutter, only a software shutter where you shut down the lasers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can turn off the lasers very quickly
yes,
and go completely to black.
Yes, it acts as an actual shutter, but it's not a mechanical shutter.
Okay,
yeah.
Excellent. Another question here. Do we have an industry standard figure on merit for power consumption, such as lumens per watt?
You can calculate according to any standard, but there is no overarching standard for lumens per watt available.
No industry standard.
No industry standard, yeah.
Yeah. Another question here. Does it have keystone correction?
Yes, it does.
That's together with the warp engine, I presume.
Yes, correct.
Okay, excellent. Will it have similar service and support and a swap-like facility, the same as the G60, or is it factory service?
No, it's a good question. It's indeed, servicing is the same as the G60 model. Same principle.
So on a swap basis.
Swap basis, yes.
Excellent. So that means really fast service for those customers out there. Another question, are there any data insights as we have with our UDM and UDX projectors? So can you get insights available on this projector?
Well, not for now, but we can always work on this in the future, but not at the start.
Okay. Lots of questions today. Sorry, Koen, I'm keeping you for a long time here. Can you tell us what are the main differences then compared to UDX and UDM?
Well, main differences are, so in the UDX, UDM, you have the Pulse software. So we have a whole range of features that go together with the Pulse. This you don't have in this machine. Also, this is a 1 DLP product. UDM, UDX are 3 DLP. So in color gamut, for instance, UDM, UDX are still somewhat larger than the G100, which is already quite good, but they are even better. So these are the two main differences.
Okay. There's a question here, 3D compatibility and also frame rates. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, so the G100 supports active and passive 3D with a bandwidth up to HD at 120 Hertz.
Excellent. Yep. Okay. Well, these questions keep coming in. It's a job to keep up with them. So can risk group 2 or 3 change in multi-projector installations? Well, I hope you know what that means.
Well, depending on the lens you use, the projector is a risk group 3 or a risk group 2, depending on the throw ratio of the lenses.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've covered this one. So which stereo standards are supported? Passive left, right, active left, right. I think you covered that, both passive and active, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Is dual eye point supported?
No, not supported.
Okay. And the JSON request is the same as the UDX series and Pulse, or is it different?
It's not the JSON command set like Pulse, as this machine doesn't have Pulse. So it's like G60, G60 command set.
Excellent. That's it for our webinar today. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope that you found it interesting. I'd just like to add that we used our Event Master and E2 suite of image processing tools to produce this event that you've seen today. Obviously, we're constrained sometimes by the bandwidth, of the internet, of the signal going out there, but I hope that that came across okay. If you'd like more information on how to set up a webinar like this using our image processing tools, then please reach out to e2@barco.com and they'll be very happy to help you there. All that remains for me to say is that I hope that we can get back to normal as soon as possible and that we can all start attending industry events around the world and that we can show you this projector live at those shows such as ISE or Infocom or others in different regions. In the meantime, please stay safe. Thank you very much for joining and goodbye.